make an appearance. True Heel Heat. I've been told it's a fantastic podcast. Why haven't you had me on it, huh? Where's my invitation? I think you guys need to feel the right. I'm at Comic-Con today, but I think we need to get some, some rap in the show. So let me know.
Hello, this is RJ City, and I am ethically opposed to any more wrestling podcasts. I don't know why you guys are talking about wrestling. It is a niche product. It is a very small industry. Yet, at this point, there's more wrestling podcasts than there are wrestlers. There is something wrong with society as a whole, but as you get smaller and smaller into wrestling, and then the wrestling podcast sphere, it gets even worse. And one such example, if I may turn on the microscope and look at the drudgery that happens to be True Heel Heat. SP3, Sid, this is your fault.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for our AEW WrestleDream 2025 preview. Breaking down the card for this Saturday, tomorrow night, St. Louis, Missouri. AEW presents its latest pay-per-view super card, and we got 3 big matches as the leading bouts. You also got a little bit more to offer. There's 5 title matches on the card, plus 4 matches on the pre-show, and we got an all-star panel to discuss it all. First up, we got the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, but he's also a very well-known, knowledgeable fan of All Elite Wrestling. He is J News. How are you doing, J News?
Doing all right, brother. Doing all right. It's going to be quite the weekend for us wrestling fans. We know we're in for about 5 to 6 hours of intense professional wrestling with the AEW shows as they go. So it's time to buckle up and have some fun. And yeah, man, I'm just here for to add to the conversation and have a nice time. Look at that beautiful smile from Maggie. Look at her. Look at her down there. But I've said enough.
And yes, we have with us the always unfiltered greatness that is the one and only co-host here for our pay-per-view previews. You know her from coexisting with Rob and Maggie on Fightful Overbook. She is the one and only Maggie. How are you doing?
Sweetie, it's been kind of a slow week for me. Nothing happened newsworthy, so I don't have a story for you, and I feel bad now. Oh, wait! I bought 5 pairs of socks.
Thank you for that knowledge.
I mean,
wow.
if you guys are into that, help me. Oh my god.
Well, you couldn't have a lot of things happen because wrestling news had to take over the headlines. You didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
headlines because people had non-competes that mean that they can't wrestle for
So
one
weird, man.
year
So without getting paid.
without
Without
getting paid.
Probably
There's
that's AI generated, right?
there's AI generated writers in wrestling now.
I need someone
Jacob
to
Fatu
explain
might be
this to me.
injured until next year. It's a
Well,
lot of
that
news.
sucks. Okay, someone explain the AI thing to me as I'm 5. I
Well,
need what is that? What do you mean?
AI is artificial intelligence. So it's basically intelligence from a computer or electronical device. And WWE is basically imploring or implying and using AI storytelling for their storylines in WWE.
So AI is coming up with storylines because they don't have writers on the staff.
No, they're taking jobs from writers on the staff.
Okay, so hear me out. If AI comes up with better storylines than the majority of those people who have been paid for decades and have done nothing, this will be the end of humanity for me.
Well, to be fair to them, we've
That's
already
low
got
bar,
it.
I know.
We've already got information about one of the great storylines that this AI generated storytelling has contributed in the report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. They reported that one of the stories that the AI storytelling had generated was for Bobby Lashley after he had left the company, coming back to the company and being obsessed with Japanese culture. I know.
Yes,
I know.
give all the money to technology. I'm kidding. Bring back your writers because that's even worse than everything. Oh my Jesus fuck. Okay.
You thought Lashley's sisters was bad. Let me tell you about Japanese cultural appropriation, Lashley.
Sure, because they're
So
not they're so into culture appropriation with the Americanos. They want to do it even worse. Yes.
so you're basically saying that AI came up with a storyline or gimmick, basically where Bobby Lashley will be the equivalent of Yuto Ice. This is what you're saying to me?
He is Earth 2 Yuto Ice.
Yes.
He is
Okay.
Earth 2
All right.
Yuto Ice. And I mean, hearing that made me realize that Yuto Ice is not as cultural appropriation as I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow, we appreciate y'all for joining us live. We appreciate y'all for watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. You can drop the thumbs up on this video. You could share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the comment section if you're watching us on demand. Give us your predictions for AEW WrestleDream there. But if you're with us live, you could sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys. Hear your thoughts, your predictions, your hot takes for this Saturday show, AEW WrestleDream. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you could send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and it goes a long way to help the channel grow and move forward. And we always appreciate the support. We got our main man, Zach Minger, letting us know it is National Pasta Day, SP3, Maggie, and J News. Thank you, Zach Minger. Just in case I didn't see your comment on Twitter, you made sure you commented here. I always appreciate you letting me know I need to eat a lot of pasta today.
I mean, not just today. Just stuff your face with pasta every day because that's
Every day?
just every day. I don't care. That's the best. Well, no, don't
Every
do it
day is
every
pasta.
day because
Yeah.
no, don't.
Too much carbs.
Well, if you're in Italy, those people eat those all the time, and they're like thin
Sure.
as
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not fair, man, at all. The pasta we have all around the world, however, is apparently bad,
There you go.
which is the saddest thing.
We got compliments for Maggie's hair in the chat from Hassan. Thank you,
Thank you. I
Hassan.
needed that. I feel like crap. Thank you.
Oh, see, you got Jay News say you have a beautiful smile. You got compliments on your hair. See,
Life isn't that bad.
life isn't that bad. And yes, Pug
Yay.
Driver Finisher. Yes, he says, "Goddamn, RJ with a great intro." I love that intro. I appreciate it.
I love the fact that you guys have new intros, Harley Cameron and RJ. Now all you guys need is to tell Romeo to fix the intro because it has Cody at number 1, and I'm deeply offended still. Fuck Cody.
You're still deeply offended.
I'm still no. That's you're glazing Steven Jensen on this show. Just
wow. Damn. Man. But yes. Well, I'll get on that. I'll make sure I let Romeo know for sure. But yes, we gotta talk about AEW WrestleDream, the latest AEW pay-per-view event. We appreciate y'all for joining us for the pay-per-view preview. So let us know in the chat, just like I'm gonna ask Maggie and J News, what is your anticipation level, your hype level for this Saturday show? Ladies first. Maggie, what do you think? What 0 to 10? Where you at for WrestleDream?
I'm at a 7, because if it would have been really, really higher if I had a day off on Sunday and was actually able to, peacefully watch the show and not hurry my ass before work because I'll be getting up at 6 a.m. to catch up. I'm so sure that the show will still be going on at 6 a.m. So I'll be, catching up and sometimes watching at 2 times speed, certain parts of the show. And that's always annoying. So that's why I'm a 7. I would have been an 8 if, but that's on me. I'm sorry. I couldn't get a day off because I need money. So that's, for socks, nothing else. So yeah, what are you guys? Are you excited for the show?
J News, where you at?
Oh man, I've liked the build towards WrestleDream by majority. I feel there's been a couple of missing pieces here and there, especially with what the hell's going on with Mercedes. That's been inconsistent and stuff like that. So we'll see as to how that all shakes out. I love what the ladies who are on the card have been doing. So props to them. I'm waiting to see when this whole Demand and Hurt Syndicate thing is going to end. At the end of the day, it's been enough of those matches. But to give you a number, I'm probably at about a good 7.5 right now. I'm digging the main 3 matches. I like where everything is going there. And great. I'm gonna believe and sit with the fact that the majority of the matches are gonna bang like they usually do on AEW pay-per-views. So, that's why I'm at a 7.5 as of right now. So that's where I'm gonna start with it.
I am going to be the down man here. I'm gonna say it's like a
for once
6,
it's not me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like a 6.5. And it's only because between Title Tuesday and the Go Home show, I've started to feel what I've been talking about for months. When we were in the middle of the AEW hot streak and they're doing all the great television, I was like, yeah, it's all great now. But let's see if we go into what happens after every All Out the last 3 years. 2022, there was the excuse, brawl out. 2023, there was the excuse, brawl in. But between last year and this year, we just got to accept we are in the NFL lull of AEW. WWE has the post-Mania lull where things slow down and then it picks back up at SummerSlam. AEW has that, but it's in a different time of the year. It's when the NFL season starts. That's when Toni is distracted with other stuff. He's not on the game. I don't think that this build has been as strong as All Out or Forbidden Door or All In or Double or Nothing. I think it's been one of the weaker ones. It is better than Dynasty. So at least they did something better than that. And the top three matches are very well put together. I just think that they have a lot of issues going on. I think that they had a great show for the 6th anniversary, and then they lost a bit of momentum. One, because the whole Andrade situation. Two, because they had to move to Tuesday nights and go against NXT, and that kind of splits the attention that they regularly would have had. And I don't think that the go home show was that good on Wednesday. It just wasn't that good. They didn't drive home the Hangman and Joe stuff. Hangman and Joe's last week segment was much better than whatever the weak stuff of them just doing a stare down at the end of the matchup. I thought Toni and Statlander, all the work they did before Wednesday was much better than Wednesday's output. Really, the only one that got a big boost off the go home show was Darby and Moxley. And it just feels like the only creativity in this company is for Darby and Moxley, because I don't think there's been a lot of creativity for a lot of these matches on this card.
Yeah, they went head to head with NXT because that show was so good, right? Oh.
Point made. Yes. But yeah, people have been kind of echoing what I've been saying a lot. I've been seeing it, but I'm the one that coined the term. It is the NFL lull. That is what we go through. But at least with Toni, at least this year, it feels like last year it felt like instantly right after All Out, we were in the NFL lull. This one, it took until like the last 2 weeks where we felt like it. And the bright side is because it started later, because All Out was later this year. It's going to start later, the NFL low. And that means it'll end earlier because the WWE post-Mania low ends at SummerSlam season. With AEW, the NFL low, it ends with the Continental Classic. That's when Toni pays attention again. He's like, NFL slowing down, season's coming to an end. I can focus on my wrestling again. So
yeah,
there's the bright side.
Well, cooldown periods. I'm familiar with those. I'm in between. I'm in a cooldown period right now. In between relationships. It's been 3 fucking years. How long does this last normally in wrestling? Okay, you say what? 3 to 4 months. Fuck. What is that?
I wasn't expecting that. Shout out to Subi in the chat. Subi's in the chat. We got Mad Cow who says, why isn't the women's tag team tournament having started? I'm fine with the women's tag team tournament having started. They should announce some stuff in regards. They don't have to announce that they have created titles and the titles are being introduced and then immediately announce and start the tournament. I think that's a little bit misconstrued in regards to your expectations in that regard. The better question for the WrestleDream card is Tony Khan. This is a direct message to Tony Khan. If you don't have MJF, Will Ospreay, and Swerve Strickland on a pay-per-view card, you should probably book Mercedes Moné and Kenny Omega on your damn card.
Well, to be fair,
I know. He had plans. He had plans for Andrade, but Andrade got the no compete clause. Oh no, then he had plans for Kota Ibushi, but Kota Ibushi got injured. Come up with another plan. It's plan A, B, C. You gotta know the alphabet after B.
But at the end of the day, man, the reality of the situation is such, and I'm going to keep a level head here. We know Tony Khan to not be able to have a backup plan. He's very steadfast. He's very steadfast in what he creates, and he wants to continue down that line, right? So that should be the expectation that people have set for themselves. I agree with you with the Mercedes thing. I brought it up earlier. I think that they're just throwing that shit to the wind at this point. They haven't really had a strong storyline for her on AEW TV. Great, congrats to her for being the longest reigning TBS champion as of today. I hope that her match at Arena Mexico with Persephone goes great tonight. I'll be watching that. And at the end of the day, whatever they find for her to do tomorrow, because it'll probably be on the pay-per-view, right? They'll
Yeah,
do
she is set to appear on the pay-per-view. Hopefully it's for an angle, but we have seen they just do segments where
some
Mercedes
backstage.
celebrates a win,
Yeah,
and then that's it.
yeah. And
She's done an in-ring segment where she just celebrated having all the titles,
nothing
and that
happened,
was it.
Yeah, that so they've got to do something better about that. Uh, uh hold on. Don't stand here.
I think the main reason why I am complaining about this with AEW and why I'm a little bit probably more irritated by AEW's problems right now is because WWE is giving them the opening right now.
Yeah, man.
Can't have these easy mistakes. Like I understand other stuff like the Andrade situation. There's no solution. There's nothing on you. There's nothing you can do about it. Kota Ibushi injury. That's all fine. There, like Dustin said in the chat, Kenny Omega and Josh Alexander, you could have done that in Canada, and that would have been the best spot to do that at All Out last month. Then you had another opportunity here. You even started off the 6-man on Wednesday with Kenny wanting him in the ring. So isn't the logical follow-up to book a Kenny Omega Alexander matchup where he's getting revenge for Kota Ibushi on this card? I don't understand how he did not do that. That just is beyond me.
I hear you, man. It's that narrow-mindedness. It's that stubbornness. It's that singular mindset. He doesn't think outside the box to replace the matches, especially when creative plans get switched around. So I'm with you. That's why I wasn't as hyped for this whole thing. I'm at a 7.5 because it's like you can switch things around and still create. Because AEW is the banger match company at the end of the day. So create another banger match to have at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you there, man. We'll see how it all breaks down at the end of the day. We I'm speculating here. We might have some surprises coming tomorrow. Returns maybe even insinuated online yesterday.
Someone said he was ready.
Yeah, someone said he was ready. So I'm all for that. And depending, and to your point, SP3, with the whole Mercedes Moné thing, if they can run an angle for her, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be important for her to go on. She's beaten everybody, right, outside of Toni Storm and whatnot. And obviously Athena's been off of TV for a while, so they're not going to go back to that per se. So we'll see. But everything else, I'm sure we'll have fun with when it airs. But for right now, it's like, all right, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm at a 6.5. Mainly, I dropped like 3.5 points because of the booking and the build up to the show. I'm at a 6.5 mainly because this card is going to deliver. I have no doubt about the roster. It's the booking and the creative that I have issues with constantly with this company. But let's talk about the pre-show first. The Tailgate Brawl, Saturday Tailgate Brawl to kick off the festivities in St. Louis on TNT, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It will be the Saturday Tailgate Brawl, and we got an 8-man tag team matchup. The conglomerations, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Tomohiro Ishii, teaming up with Paragons, Roderick Strong, to verse the Death Riders, Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Daniel Garcia. It was on the Go Home show this past Wednesday. Claudio Castagnoli picked up a win over Roderick Strong, who wanted to face off with the Death Riders, but was disappointed in the result of that one. Then later in the show, we got Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta picking up a win over Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly in tag team action, thanks to outside interference from Pac and Claudio. Who's going to get the win in this 8-man tag on the pre-show? Maggie.
Listen, Death Riders better win, man. Pac was beaten by OC. I will not stand for this. I don't care if Orange Cassidy is everyone's favorite. Sure, he's fun. The most brilliant match ever, Revolution 2020. Orange Cassidy versus Pac. This was insanely good and really, really entertaining. Let's get serious for now, okay? Pac needs to murder everyone on that other team, including Ishii. I don't care. Justice for Pac I still like it's been 6 years. I still kind of feel like Pac hasn't been treated correctly in AEW. Way better than some points in WWE. Some points because like he was cruiserweight champion and everything. I get it. I cannot for the life of me ever call him Neville ever again. This feels like a lifetime ago. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Death Riders. Hopefully, you know.
You know what's funny? I did a trivia game where I got asked a question, and it was literally, I think it was like title lineage. Like, who did AJ Styles like win the WWE title from and lose it from in his first reign? And I said, oh, he won it from Jon Moxley and he lost it to John Cena. And the person in charge of the trivia game tried to tell me I was wrong. And then
No, hell no. What?
when the other person got the answer wrong, he told us, "Oh no, the answer is he beat Dean Ambrose and he lost the title to Jon Moxley." I was like, "I don't call people by their slave name," and I got the points because I said I don't call people by their slave name. So don't call Pac Neville because that's his slave name. Don't call Bryan Danielson Daniel Bryan. That's his slave name. Don't do it.
Okay,
I got the points. You learn. Don't call people their slave names. J News.
It's J News his slave name. I kind of feel like JPEG is better.
Wow. I don't even know what to do with that right there. So I'll say that the Death Riders versus the conglomeration stuff.
I'm so sorry.
It's absolutely fine. On TV has been fun for the most part. And for all intents and purposes, I feel like I'm with Maggie here. If the Death Riders don't get the win here, it just doesn't make much sense. Now, to be quite honest, Pac has come back with this level of intensity and vigor I haven't seen in quite a while. This is the best version of the bastard that I've seen in quite some time, just in the last 3 weeks. The beatdown he gave Darby Allin in that conversation room, to me, was graphic and gruesome, and it made the point of you don't mess with Pac when he's angry. You know what I'm saying? So, it gave him a certain level of he already had an edge, but now it's on another level. And I hope he starts to do more interesting stuff in the coming weeks. But I do give the Death Riders the win here, with Roderick Strong still being the odd man out, him not wanting to really be part of the conglomeration and all that jazz, and how all that's gonna turn out. I feel we'll get the Death Riders getting the actual win here.
AEW also has way too many storylines of person teaming with person they don't want to team with.
Oh, can they coexist?
Yeah.
Thank you. Cheap plug. Guys, do you agree with Greg that can you get with short hair Pac? Because I'm digging short hair.
I'm digging short hair Pac. I call him Julius Caesar. So.
He feels like the head basically muscle for the mob boss. That's how it came off when Moxley had the prison conversation with Darby and Pac is beating him down and Moxley's not even looking towards him. He's just like, he's just waiting for it to get done and stuff. Like, that was perfect. And Pac came off like a Jason Statham lead muscle for the big final boss.
There you go.
That segment was really, really good, by the way. Really good.
Most certainly. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the Death Riders obviously need to get the victory here. But let's get into the other. Well, quickly, we can talk about this next matchup because they didn't even try to give us options here. It just says Eddie Kingston and Hook will be in action. So I would assume Eddie Kingston and Hook will be getting the win. So,
yes.
Yeah.
What?
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
When did they announce this?
Yeah, they announced this on the Collision portion of Dynamite this week. They did a quick segment where both Hook and Kingston look like they could not give any types of fucks and they said they'll be at the Saturday. No, Eddie Kingston said, and I quote, "I'll be at the what's the name of the thing on Saturday?" Is Cook said the tailgate, the tailgate brawl, the tailgate. Kingston didn't even care to know the name of the show he's going to be on.
I forgot.
He knew the name. He was just trying to teach Hook
To forget
how
it?
to cut a promo.
I forgot that part because the gist I got from that 20-second promo was that they were now officially a tag team and they were going to enter the tag team division. I forgot that part about them being.
It was awkward. It was awkward, sweetie.
It's been awkward since Eddie came back. This whole thing, it's been awkward since Eddie came back. I'm not feeling it.
Me either.
Mm-hmm.
I know Eddie seemed rusty when he came back at All Out. He seemed rusty like the first couple of matches, but I thought he looked good against Mortos. He looked all right against Sterlistico.
Yeah.
So he's getting back on the right path. So just put him in some singles matches, please. Put him in something important. Put him in something meaningful, please. Thank you. I would appreciate it. This is not it. And anything with they need to do something with Hook. They got to remodel him, or I don't know, go back to the drawing board.
Well, they gave him new music that I can't get on board with. So
yeah, that also hurts. All right, let's talk about the two big matches on the Saturday Tailgate Brawl. As you got tag team action from the women's division, a little preview of the women's tag team tournament here, as we have Divine Vanity. That is their name on Wikipedia. I'm just letting everybody know. Divine Vanity, which is Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne, or better known as the Top Gods as of late with FTR. They'll be facing Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. It was Willow who stepped up to FTR and Stokely following their actions at All Out when they attacked Beth Copeland. Willow, being a big fan and admirer of Copeland, stepped up and stood up to FTR. It led to battles between that side along with Willow and Jet Speed. Unfortunately, Stokely had an ace in the hole and he hired the services of the Top Goddesses of Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford to take out Willow. It led to Megan Bayne and FTR creating the Top Gods to pick up the win over the Jet Speed Babes in mixed trios action on Collision last week. And then this week on Dynamite, we heard from Megan Bayne and it set up a tag team matchup after Megan Bayne picked up the win over Harley Cameron of Harley and Willow versus Penelope and Megan. Who's going to get the win here, Maggie?
This one is actually hard because I kind of feel like if the heels win the one match, then the other match, which is FTR and Jet Speed, will go to the faces and vice versa, And I really don't know who to pick because I have no idea who wins between FTR and Jet Speed, because I kind of want it to be Jet Speed because I am so biased when it comes to Speedball. Apart from that mullet, please just get rid of it. But it's FTR. So this.
Do you agree with Stokely Hathaway that he looks like Billy Ray Cyrus with the autoimmune disease?
Oh my God. Does that mean that everyone with a mullet looks like, No, like.
That's such an American stereotype.
It's ridiculously American. I cannot get on board with that.
Jesus
but
Christ.
Second of all, I've made my opinion so vocal. For me, we need to put on pause all the world wars that are going on right now, just so we can, resolve the mullet situation that's coming back in style. And when we make everyone cut their hair off because you fucking should, then we can continue with all the wars and everything, because I kind of feel like that's more, important. I'm kidding, obviously.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna have to flip a coin here, correct? This is for some reason a pre-show match is really, really hard for me.
I mean, let's be real here. Neither one of these next two matches should be on the pre-show. They should be on the main card. They should have just made it one matchup, make it an 8-person tag, and it should have been on the main card.
I mean, thank you. fucking damn it, man. Willow and Harley Cameron. I kind of feel like they should be pushed hard in the tag team division. Oh yeah, but like Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne have to be pushed too.
But Willow and
Ah.
Harley are the new tag team. They are.
Yeah.
Remember, this whole thing was set up from Kris Statlander telling Harley she knew someone that she could team with because
That
she was
she can
focused
team with.
on the women's world title. So she found her a partner, and that was her former friend Willow Nightingale. So they should. I agree. They should be the ones to get the win here. Penelope is going to take the pin.
Willow. Yeah, sure, of course, like she always does. Willow and Harley, and then FTR will win versus Jet Speed. There you go. What do you got?
J-News?
I've got the Janela girls winning this match here, since they're the more experienced tag team.
Oh my god!
So
I stopped calling them that because
listen,
I was.
I get it.
I was calling them the Eskimo sisters. But,
well, it is what it is there. But I don't know if you can call them super megacists or whatever you want to call them at this point. But
super mega bad.
There you go, super mega bad. They win here. They're the more experienced tag team. They'll get they'll be able to isolate Harley Cameron, and Harley will get she'll get pinned, and then it'll give Willow a reason to give her the pat on the back and light a fire under her ass, and then they'll walk into whatever this whole AEW women's tag team thing is going to be. I feel like AEW should take a page out of the CMLL book and dedicate a month towards the women, but that's just me.
AEW?
I know. Like I said, that's just me. But
that's everyone apart from Tony Khan.
Well, but the heels win here, and obviously it'll continue to add towards the storyline of them going into Blood and Guts. So I feel like the baby faces will end up winning Blood and Guts anyway. So if they lose here, it just makes the sense for me.
Not with Megan Bayne dominating the last two times they've been in the ring with each other. Makes more sense for Harley and Willow to win here, especially to establish them. But to each his own. Speaking of the other side, the other tag team match Maggie was referring to, you got FTR going up against Jet Speed. This is a rematch from July when they faced in the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament ahead of Forbidden Door. And really, I will say the revival of the AEW Tag Team division started with that matchup in the tournament. That was like the first tag team matchup on Dynamite in a while that really delivered on a high level. And ever since then, the tag team division feels like it's back again. And it's thanks in large part to these two teams. So I expect them to tear it up, especially being on the TNT portion of this show. They're going to want to outdo everybody else on the main card. So I expect this to probably be arguably one of the better matches of the whole entire night. But in the end, I think FTR picked up the win. I think eventually Jet Speed will get that elusive win over FTR, but it just doesn't mean as much as it will later on if FTR has a bit of a winning streak against them. Maggie?
Yeah, like I said, FTR for the win here. I don't know it at this pace that they're going. I don't know who beats them. I'm not counting, Edge, Christian, whatever you guys want to call them. I will never count those.
Why? They lost.
Yeah, but like if they return and they beat them, that won't count ever.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's.
I think they're setting up for FTR, the top gods, to verse Cope, Christian, and Beth.
That seems to be the way that they're going, and they're also they're just from a general standpoint, it seems like they're doing the mixed trios thing a bit here. Like they're doing it down on ROH as well with certain talents and stuff like that. So it might make its way.
They're doing a bit more intergender wrestling overall. There was a lot of that on Collision last Saturday.
Yeah, which I can appreciate because it's been cool to watch. especially with how physical the women on specifically on the AEW roster are and stuff like that. So I can appreciate that. So hopefully we get more of it. And yeah, I mean, FTR versus Jet Speed, depending as to wherever they want to go here, and Cope and Christian not being on TV. Does FTR have to win here? Not necessarily. But does Jet Speed get a bump towards the tag team titles? I don't know. So if I'm playing the numbers here, FTR is probably gonna win, man. FTR is probably gonna win.
I truly believe that Willow and Kris Statlander are 100% capable of folding a huge man in 4. So why not do the intergender stuff?
I was telling Jimmy Macaram yesterday when we talked about E Rambo, because he famously doesn't watch Collision, and I was like, you got to watch that Top Gods versus Jet Speed Bays match just for the reaction of Willow getting in the ring with Dax. Like that crowd,
that was so good.
For that, they went crazy, and then when she hits the spine buster, they went nuts again. We got here in the chat one of our members of the channel, Alan, who has been a member for 25 months, over 2 years. Thank you so much, Alan. He says, "What up, THH family? What do y'all think about WWE saying Andrade can't wrestle for 1 year instead of 90 days? I think that that sounds very illegal.
It is so illegal.
And apparently, he's not the only one. There's actually someone who is under a non-compete that is of similar length. That's what Sean Ross Sapp just said on In the Weeds earlier today, that he's going to have a report later that someone else is under a similar non-compete clause. But that is illegal, especially considering something similar to that length. Yes.
But are they... Does he know if I mean, obviously he didn't mention who, but like, does he know if
we know who it is because Jeremy guessed it and Sean left, which pretty much answered who it was.
Okay, but is the person
it's Samantha Irvin.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Are you kidding me? They did the same thing to Renee before Renee went to AEW.
Yes, exactly.
Yep,
Exactly. That's why that was the first person, because usually Jeremy would say someone stupid, so he would get like say someone funny. But the first person that came to his head was Samantha Irvin because of the whole Renee stuff, because she hasn't done anything remotely wrestling wise, because she's been talking about AEW, been talking about Ricochet's time there, but hasn't done anything with them. Obviously, she would be interested, and they haven't broached it at all. It was quite obvious who it was.
You know what, man? Everyone's allowed their opinion about stuff, right? In my eyes, if you and I have a conversation in general and you land on the side of a corporation over the workers, you and I can't share the same space. So either expect one of two things: me to walk away or me to put my foot in your ass. One of the two things.
Foot in ass. Foot in ass.
Because at this point, I just don't understand what the hell this is about. Like, the Andrade thing is one thing, right? Now, with Samantha and Renee, 1 year, they're faces. They don't wrestle. They're not performers. They're just TV personalities. And they're not getting paid. And they have to be off of TV for a year? This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, how is that legal? And then on top of everything else, what WWE always counts on, or corporations, forget WWE, because other corporations do this too. What they count on is people not fighting it, because they know it doesn't hold up in court at the end of the day. So from what I've understood, to answer Alan's, to comment on what Alan was talking about, it seems like Andrade has lawyered up, and he will be fighting this whole thing. So
we got our lawyer on staff, Stat King, and he was like, Andrade should fight it if it's 90 days or if it's 1 year, regardless. Like, they can't hold you and not pay you. Like, it's different from every other non-compete clause that we usually hear about. They pay them for 3 months. This is not paid. He should be free, like regardless, like it says here, Soupy said, if you get fired without a pay package, you're free. You should be. You should have said you should be free to work wherever, but apparently not so with TKO and WWE. And this is not even like just a strictly TKO thing, because Lance Storm on Wrestling Observer Radio said that he saw that in the clause in his contract when he went back in 2019.
Yeah, man, it's interesting to know that this is in people's contracts and folks not know or read the fine print or whatever have you, right? This is why back in the 80s there was talk about the unionization of wrestlers and people knowing their, workers knowing their rights and all this other jazz and everything else in between. I'll say this though, man, this non-compete bullshit is garbage at the end of the day, because you're just stopping someone from making their living the way that they know how to make it. Right. And so, but they can do indie bookings. It's not like they can go international. Who the fuck wants to go to Mexico and Japan to wrestle for a couple of months while I can stay my ass at home or take a 2-hour flight somewhere to be on a show on a Wednesday? Who the hell wants to do that? That's more money out of my pocket that you're no longer giving me in order for me to freaking go to work. Like, that's just asinine. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of everything else, it's just, it's mind-boggling that people have to go through this. And I think one of the arguments online that I read today, specifically having to do with the Andrade thing, it's like, well, he was purposely trying to get fired and this, that, and the third. The burden of proof is on the company to find out whether or not he was purposely doing this or not. You just don't know if he was doing it on purpose. You can't justify intent in a court of law. There's no way to do that. You know what I'm saying? Outside of murder and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? It had to be premeditated. Unless he was having conversations with people and saying, yo, man, I'm going to fail this drug test and I'm going to sniff this cocaine, dog. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just not going to do this. You know?
Which Andrade has been liable of doing. Remember the whole situation, the first run in AEW, where he said, oh, I'm gonna fight someone backstage. And they told him, and he started talking trash with Sammy online. And he was like, I'm gonna come see you backstage. And they told him when he gave backstage, don't hit Sammy. And he said, hold on, smacked Sammy, and then went back to the conversation.
But that was AEW, right? Now he has a history of it, right? But that's physical abuse. Now we're talking about drugs. We talking about any other type of thing or whatever. I don't know what happened here. The burden of proof is on the company to say, hey, man, he was doing this shit on purpose. Andrade has a lawyer, Steven, according to Jose, the assistant, as a matter of fact, because Jose would know. Andrade has a lawyer. So it is what it is. I get it. I get corporations have to have their own protections in writing and all that stuff. I get all that. I understand the legalese of it all. I'm just saying that a lot of this stuff it's not enforceable, as people are saying. And then secondarily, it's like, it's excessive. A year? Like, come on now, man. Anyways.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Sweetie, Genius, that was the most moral rant I've ever heard in my life. And I really, really appreciate you for that.
Oh, thank you. I have a good bone in my body, a couple of them, here and there. So.
There you go. There you have it. All right, let's get into the main card for this Saturday, as we're going to have
15 minutes in
a $500,000 matchup. The Young Bucks will face Jurassic Express, Jungle Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus. Of course, Jack Perry was once a member of the Elite with the Young Bucks last year, joining the group with their attack on Tony Khan and then Kenny Omega the following week. From there, they were running roughshod over All Elite Wrestling until the Young Bucks lost the AEW World Tag Team Championships and left the company. They left Jack Perry alone. He lost the TNT Championship. He lost in Japan. He was exiled from AEW for months. He tried to call and tried to get in contact with the Young Bucks, who just left him on red with all his text messages. Didn't answer and ignored all his phone calls. We saw it on Being the Elite, and it all came to a head at AEW All Out after the Bucks lost the 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Jack Perry made his return, confronted the Bucks, went after them, The Bucks fought back, looked like the numbers game was going to get the better of them, but Luchasaurus made his return because Jack Perry dug him up out of the ground, brought him back to life, reuniting Jurassic Express, bringing back the signature theme song. Since then, the two teams have gone at it. Jurassic Express making the save for Kenny Omega and the baby faces against Don Callis family and the Young Bucks 1 week. The following week, the Bucks attacked Jurassic Express, issuing the challenge for the WrestleDream. At the same time, the Bucks have been experiencing the highs and lows of gambling as they gambled and teamed with the Death Riders and won $500,000, turning around their misfortune that they've had since losing their EVP title at All in Texas. But however, Nick Jackson has a gambling addiction, which led to them losing the money and becoming the broke Bucks once again. They asked and pleaded for a money match, and they get it at WrestleDream. This grudge match will be with the winner winning $500,000. Maggie, what have you thought about the build to this matchup? Who wins tomorrow night?
This has been kind of fun for me. I've been a low-key Jack Perry fan when everyone was crapping on Jack Perry. And I really like the guy when he became Jack Perry. Jungle Boy, you knew that there was something special. But, the gimmick, I knew that it wasn't going to last. And I like the fact that they're calling him Jungle Jack Perry. It's really good. If this match wasn't a 500K match, I would think that Young Bucks would win that. But because it's a money match, I think that they're gonna lose it because they cannot have nice things anymore. So I'm picking Luchasaurus and Jungle Jack Perry here. It's gonna be a really good match. These people have been in each other's company for like a lot of years. So like, they've been doing everything together. They were a part of the Elite and everything. This is going to be really, really good match. I'm almost sure that it's going to open the show also.
Yeah, I think that's why I put it first, because this feels like one of the main options to be the opener of the show. I agree with you. I think Jurassic Express gets the win and Jack Perry buys more knives. J News?
Yeah.
Correction. Jack makes knives. He doesn't buy them.
Oh yeah,
so,
he makes them.
He makes them. So there's that. I'm with you here. Jurassic Express for the win.
Pay attention.
Jurassic Express for the win here. The only thing I have to, as I usually do with most matches, right? Because this is a professional wrestling in America. Outside of the ring is a storytelling medium. What's gonna happen with Jurassic after this win? Where do they go? What do they do? Do they continue to feud with the Bucks? Do they go against the Hurt Syndicate, Jet Speed? Where does it go from here necessarily? So that's really more what I'm worried about instead of the win here, because the Bucks always handle their stories, and I trust the Bucks wholeheartedly with their stories, because it's long term, short term. The Bucks always do great with what they do. So I don't have any issue with what the Bucks are going to plan to do after this match. But this win has to catapult Jurassic Express into something of substance and something of significance since they've been put back together. That is my only worry after this match is over. After this match happens.
Yeah, you always have to worry about that with like the AEW, especially the AEW tag team division and the women's scene. Like whenever someone's in a high profile feud, what is the follow up? And AEW tends to sometimes have a follow-up problem. So hopefully they get the win and then they can follow up with something important, or this rivalry can continue and get a little bit more serious as time goes on.
Yeah. By the way, when the layout is like this and you're not displaying any comments, Jon Moxley looks really weird.
He's looking at you. He's stalking you. He's stalking you. But Soupy says he thinks that I think Jurassic Express will go after the tag titles, tag team championships. Brodido and Jurassic Express is a fresh matchup, and it kind of works because it's the big man, little man dynamic there. So
that too, and plus Jurassic Express is more tweener now than they are baby faces. Yeah. So that can definitely work. Yeah.
Then we got a grudge match here, as it's going to be Tekla going one-on-one with Jamie Hayter. These two women have been at each other's throats over the last couple of months. Tekla made her debut in AEW at the end of May, attacking Jamie Hayter, taking her out for a number of months. Jamie Hayter made her return at Forbidden Door, having the back of Queen Amanada against the Triangle of Madness. We've been seeing battles and brawls between both sides ever since then, leading to the announcement and the challenge for Blood and Guts coming up on November 12th. But we still had not seen Hayter go one-on-one with Tekla. After the last couple of weeks of Hayter picking up wins over Julia Hart and Sky Blue, she now has one last member of Triangle of Madness to pick up a win against in one-on-one competition, and it's Tekla, with Tekla promising to bring the toxicity, to be toxic to the core, coming up in St. Louis. Maggie, what have you thought about these two women's rivalry and who picks up the win? One of the rare, I think this is like only the second or third time AEW's had a non-title women's singles match on a pay-per-view.
Am I the only one who thinks that this match is going to be really good?
Absolutely.
I think it is. I've been saying it. I said it yesterday on the AE Ramble. I thought that Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue was one of the better matches on that episode of Dynamite. And it really feels to me like Hayter has regained her confidence. When she first came back from the injury, you can tell she was still trying to like find her footing, still work out the ring rust at the end of 2024. But it really feels like the push that she got to go to the finals of the Owen Hart Cup has regained her confidence. And ever since she came back after Forbidden Door, she's been killing it in the ring.
I'm only asking because I don't see anyone talking about this match, and this is, really weird to me. Compared to the other, the remainder of the card, I kind of get it, but I'm gonna pick Tekla here. They have to book someone from the witchy triangle, whatever thingy. They need someone to win, okay? Because all of the other people lose all the time. So Tekla for the win. I'm really looking forward to this match.
Makes sense. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Tekla as well. I think Tekla needs the win a lot more than Jamie Hayter does. Hayter probably needs like one or two wins to get back into title contention. And I do agree with you. They need to pay off all the investment they've given into her since she's debuted, as well as Triangle of Madness. And I think that they are eventually, like Jay News said earlier, Triangle of Madness is probably going to be on the losing end of Blood and Guts. So she needs the win here to kind of, after Blood and Guts, get into the title picture again. J News?
Yeah. Side comment here. This has more to do with AEW creative than anything else. Can we stop trying to give these wrestlers catchphrases? It gets lost on me.
What did they give Tekla?
The her ending line for everything now. Yeah.
Toxic to the core.
That toxic to the core thing. During her promo after the Sky Blue versus Jamie Hayter match on Dynamite, it fell flat with the fans in the arena and for me at home at the end of the day. It didn't work. Not to say that Tekla is bad on the microphone, because she's not. I'm just saying from a creative standpoint, stop trying to give these wrestlers these freaking catchphrases, because not all of them need them at the end of the day. Just let her talk her shit, because she's good at it at the end of the day. So that's my freaking.
I don't know. To me, I don't have an issue with that. The only issue that I had with Tekla's freaking promo was her delivery. She made he sounded like Jim Carrey in The Mask.
It was
somebody stop me. I'm toxic to the core.
Yeah. It needs to
be. I need to rewatch that movie.
yeah, good. Yeah, it's a good one. What was I gonna say? Good point, SP3. The delivery, the cadence and the delivery, it matters. I need her to normalize it a bit, or whatever the case is. She can be brash and stuff like that. And yet again, to my point, the catchphrase thing, not every wrestler needs one, is what I'm saying. So that's just my point there. But from a match standpoint here, I agree with you, SP3. Tekla for the win, especially to pay off the investment and everything else in between. Depending as to where they want to go after this, I think I don't think Tekla's going to be involved in whatever's going on with the women's tag thing. I think Jamie Hayter will be. So with that,
I think Hayter is going to be with Hamanada.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That or Alex Windsor, one of the two. So depending as to where they want to go with that,
they've been pairing her up with Amanada.
With Amanada, yeah.
Alex Windsor. If Alex Windsor is going to be in the tournament, I would think they would probably call on like one of the Joshi stars, maybe Saray because she's teamed with her, or Shuri because she's had the matchup with her, and they had that exchange at All In. But she's not going to team with Hayter. Hayter is clearly they're positioning her with Amanada.
No, that's fair. I just like I said, I just see Hayter going into the tag team thing. So technically getting the win here makes more sense. I'm not sure if she had her match versus Toni, right? Tekla did, or am I bugging?
No, she was just in the 4-way.
Okay. So
4-way at All Out last month.
So maybe give her a shot at the AEW Women's title after the fact.
Her and Statlander is a fresh matchup. I agree.
Yeah, so that can work. So we'll see as to how that goes. But yeah, I'm with y'all. Tekla for the win.
Yeah, Volub saying I think this should open. I think that's a little much. It's a little much. Like like Hayter is gaining momentum again, but she's not as over as she was at the beginning of 2023. For the opener of a show, Volub, always, especially with AEW pay-per-views, you need the established star that the fans view as a superstar. That's why All Out started with hometown heroes, Cope and Christian. That's why what was the opener for Forbidden Door? Cope and Christian. They're established stars. Like that's why they open those shows. All in Texas started with the Death Riders against the Ops. The Death Riders were in the centerpiece matchup of the whole pay-per-view. Like you need those established talent to start off the show. You can't start it off with a Jamie Hayter and Tekla match. It needs to be early in the show. If that's what you mean, then yeah. Then you got some more action here. You got the trios action on board, a Tornado Trios matchup to hopefully finally conclude this storyline, as it's going to be the Demand, Ricochet, and the GOA versus the Hurt Syndicate, MVP Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. At Forbidden Door, it was the Demand who interfered in the Hurt Syndicate's AEW World Tag Team Championship matchup, costing them the titles. From there, these two teams have gone at it in singles matches, in tag team matches, and in trios action. At All Out, it was the Demand picking up their biggest win to date, defeating the Hurt Syndicate in their first official loss as a trio. Then it was the GOA who once again picked up a victory, the first ever loss for the Hurt Syndicate in tag team action over Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin this past week on Dynamite. At Title Tuesday 2 weeks ago, it was the Demand who took the loss to the Hurt Syndicate in a street fight. And now we have this Tornado Trios matchup, the third meeting in trios action between these two sides. It needs to end here. I will say, I think that this program has done a good job of establishing the Demand as a faction in AEW. It's done a lot to, help them out, make GOA feel like a threat, give Ricochet something meaningful to do. It felt like the first kind of meaningful feud Ricochet has done since the Swerve program ended earlier this year. Unfortunately, it has kind of defined down the Hurt Syndicate. And I think that's due to the length and the layout of this rivalry. I don't think that it needed to go on after a street fight. That street fight on Title Tuesday felt like a blow-off, and you could have separated the two teams with both teams having a win. But we're gonna see who's the better trio here. So, Maggie, who you got?
So I thought MVP said that he wasn't good at wrestling anymore, and that's why they had the street fight, because he was a fighter.
Right.
Yes.
And now
another reason why this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So this is weird. I'm gonna pick the Demand here because they're the fresh team that needs to be, I don't know if the passing of the torch can be, something said here, because I do not think that this is the end of the Hurt Syndicate, by all means. But from everything that they've said, that they wanted to work with GOA for so long, so now they're working with GOA. So if if they've been wanting to work with them so much, then they need to be the ones to lose this match just so they can be definitive and win and everything, and just let's get it over with. And hopefully, the trios championships are in the lines for the demand.
Jay knows.
I can get behind Maggie's sentiments here. I feel like if the demand are going to be next in line for the trios championships, they would need to have a win here, unless they're really planning on putting the syndicate in line for those trios championships, which they haven't done yet. So, they won the tag titles, but they haven't won the trios championships. And, to the point that you made earlier, SP3, we have a subsequent branch storyline going on about MVP saying that he's a step slower now in the ring. So does that lead us to believe that the Hurt Syndicate is going to go on a trios championship run with MVP as their third man? I don't know, necessarily. So with that being said, I think that the demand getting the win here makes the most sense. And they can actually delve into this whole MVP not necessarily being the wrestler he once thought he was anymore type of storyline. Because if anything, during the Dynamite match, he almost blew it. Or they lost, but him throwing the cane into the ring caused a distraction that could have lost the match for them right away, even though it didn't. But then they eventually lost the match anyway. So it seems like he's just taken a step back altogether. Not to say that MVP is going to leave the Hurt Syndicate. Is more or less like them having to reassess and regroup in some way or fashion. I don't know if that's adding a new member. I don't know if that's just them being, MVP just being a mouthpiece going forward and not wrestling anymore. If him just hanging up the boots angle type thing. I don't know where they go, but the demand wins here. They go ahead. It should be a fun match to see them versus the Ops with the differentiation in styles and all that stuff. So I'll look forward to that. But I'm up with the demand on that one.
I do think that the man after this matchup will probably be in the AEW World Trios Championship division. But Chinu, silly you. They don't need a win to do that. This is AEW. When do they need wins to get championship opportunities?
You remember the rankings?
Exactly. The Hurt Syndicate can win. I think the Hurt Syndicate's going to win this rivalry. I think the demand have already gotten over through this rivalry that they don't need the win.
I agree with that.
End. Hurt Syndicate need the win to keep going forward and to feel like they are still at the level that they were previously before this program started. So I think they get the win, and I wouldn't be surprised if, the rumors is out there. Cedric Alexander has reportedly either is about to finish up or already finished up with TNA Wrestling following Bound for Glory. We could see him. We could.
Man, what a dumb show that was.
We could see, yes, it was.
Okay.
We could see Cedric Alexander come in and help the Hurt Syndicate get the win, and then he be the replacement for MVP going forward in the trios division.
Yeah, wishful thinking at the end of the day. But to the point you just made, according to Fightful Select, the best $5.99 you'll ever spend in your life. At the end of the day, a lot of different TNA talents contracts were up after Bound for Glory on Sunday, midnight at into Monday or whatever, including Cedric Alexander. So that would be cool and interesting, obviously, especially if he's the one who helps them get the win, right? So that creates a story within itself. But then wouldn't that continue the story with the demand if that were to happen?
No, they could just move on because the demand, remember, after All Out, the demand wanted an AEW World Trios title matchup. Okay. But Garcia had taken out Shibata and they got a tag team title match instead. He could just go back to say, we still owed our Trios title matchup. So we're going to forget about the Hurt Syndicate and we going over here, and then they can win the titles. And then this is why you shouldn't even be doing this third matchup, because you should wait till the demand wins the titles and then run it back with the Hurt Syndicate versus the demand. Then it feels fresh after a couple of months away from each other.
Somebody go call Will Washington. That's all I gotta say. Anyways,
We got another rivalry that seems to be culminating this Saturday for the AEW TNT Championship. It is Kyle Fletcher defending against his arch nemesis, Mark Briscoe. Both men had big matches at All Out. It was Mark Briscoe who picked up the win over MJF in the tables and tax match to put to bed his rivalry with Maxwell Jacob Freeman and pick up the biggest win of his singles career. Meanwhile, Kyle Fletcher came up just short of dethroning Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship in a match of the year candidate in the main event of All Out. From there, Mark Briscoe set his sights on the AEW TNT Championship after Kyle Fletcher defeated Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, taken out Hologram with the help of El Clone. It was Mark Briscoe who was standing there wanting revenge for his conglomeration teammates and got the matchup made from Tony Khan. A fifth matchup between Fletcher and Briscoe. These two men have traded wins over the last year for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Mark Briscoe beat Fletcher. Fletcher lost to Briscoe again in the Continental Classic. On an episode of Collision, Fletcher was able to get his first win over Briscoe, and then again in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament at AEW Dynasty. This fifth matchup determines who's the better man and who will walk out with the TNT Championship. J News, who wins on Saturday?
So this is one of the, even though they've had their rivalry stemming back from 2024, from a storyline perspective, specifically for WrestleDream, they've really done not much of nothing with this per se. We're just running this back for match number 5, right? And at the end of the day, like I said during the last pay-per-view review and preview for Kyle Fletcher, I don't see him losing this championship anytime soon. I just don't. It should be a banger of a match. I count on Chicken to draw that sympathy from the fans and to do all his wild and crazy stunts as he usually does. But Kyle retains here, and Kyle has to go on to something different. It doesn't necessarily have to, everybody wants grand things for Kyle, but just something different after this, because they've been doing this to death now, and there's other people that he can be taking on at the end of the day. So, let's Kyle Fletcher for retaining his TNT title here.
Maggie?
I feel like this is going to be a really, really powerful match, but it is still the easiest prediction for me. Kyle Fletcher retains. It's going to slap. It's going to be a slapper, I'm sure. But it is, for me, the easiest one.
This has all the makings to be the match of the night. Like, every matchup that I talked about has been an absolute banger between these two guys. So I expect this to deliver, but I agree with y'all. It's unanimous. Kyle Fletcher is going to retain the TNT Championship.
Yeah.
This one, though, I think is a little bit more unpredictable, especially after the recent big victory by one of the competitors in this matchup, as the AEW World Tag Team Championships will be up for grabs as Brodido, Bandito, and Brody King will defend against the Don Callis families, Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada, two champions in their own right. Brodido, they took the loss to the Don Callis family on Title Tuesday, with Takeshita and Okada somehow, some way getting over their own differences to pick up the victory and earn a shot at the titles at WrestleDream. But these two men have been at each other's throats in the same faction for the last couple of weeks, heading into All Out. And then at All Out, it was Okada who picked up the win over Takeshita and Mascarada Dorada to retain the AEW Unified Championship. Meanwhile, Takeshita went all the way back home to Japan and won a title that is synonymous with Kazuchika Okada, defeating Zack Sabre Jr. in one of the best matches of the year on Monday at NJPW King of Pro Wrestling to become the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Every competitor in this matchup walks in with championship gold. So who exactly is going to take the loss tomorrow night? Maggie, what have you thought about the build to this matchup, the ongoing issues between Takeshita and Okada, and who wins and walks out tag team champions?
this this is the hardest one because we have the tension between Okada and Takeshita that will inevitably lead to a match between the two. I mean, fingers crossed. So, but on the other hand, Bandito is hurt, kayfabe, his shoulder. So, man, I know that everyone loves Brodido as a tag team. But because I'm a huge I just miss Buddy Matthews, and I kind of feel like Brody is cheating on him right now, and I understand the guy's hurt, but like I need that team to be the team. Buddy and Brody. I need that. I miss that so much. I thought that they were gonna be the ones to win the tag team championships from Hurt Syndicate. They weren't. It was a different thing. It's okay, kind of, but nobody Matthews, boo. So at some point, Brodido are gonna lose those championships because if they're still tag team champions, when and if, because we don't know anything, Buddy Matthews arrives, he's gonna be mad. Okay, they're just. If this were WWE, he was gonna come back as a heel and break up the two, but it's not. But we're still have PTSD. So I'm gonna pick Okada and Takeshita just for the fun of it. Because everyone loves Brodido and I don't really. So
Well, damn, Maggie. Tell them how you really feel.
I love them separately. Bandito is probably wrestler of the year. With everything that he's done. His match with Takeshita. I mean, and they're gonna fight again now. I mean, it's really gonna be an awesome match. But the guy's hurt. It's not fair, and it's not a legitimate tag team. I don't care what you guys say. So, and those other people, they cannot stand each other. So they're probably gonna try and outshow each other while beating up the other team. And it's gonna work for them, but not for long. And this is how you start their feud, with them losing the championships and them blaming the other one. So yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense to me. J News, who you got here?
We spoke about this off camera, so I'll bring this here.
I weren't here.
No, but the a couple of days ago, me and SP3 talked about this, so I'll mention it here. First off, props to you, Maggie, for being one of the only people on the planet to bring up Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy, a couple of days ago, put an hourglass up on his Twitter account. So it's about that time that we see the return of Buddy Murphy as well. so we might be getting some returns come Saturday. Speculation. All alleged. In this match per se, I have the very candid WCW old man booking in my head here. The two Japanese wrestlers of lore now, right? Because these guys are on top of the game. Okada been on top forever. Takeshita now is on top right now. They're a tag team. How can they coexist? They won't. One will walk out on the other, and a count out will be applied, and Brodido retains. No one gets pinned. No one. People keep on trying to say, I know, but it's the best way to do it. You can't get.
Is it?
It is.
Is it though?
You can't.
Is it really?
Is it really?
First of all, you can't get Okada pinned. At the end of the day, you can't pin Takeshita.
Yes, you can. He has not been pinned this year. You can have him pin in a tag team matchup. Have Bandito pin him. It sets up a unified title match for Full Gear, keeping Okada distracted for one more pay-per-view cycle before he eventually has to face Takeshita at World's End in the finals of the Continental Classic. It writes itself.
Pulls Takeshita.
I don't see it.
He pulls Takeshita.
I don't see it. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I don't see Okada getting pinned here. I just don't. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. It's gonna end up in the way where Brodido retains. There's gonna be a freaking account out win or some bullshit Don Callis family crap going down. But at the end of the day, Okada and Takeshita don't get pinned here. That's just not happening.
Okay, so you pick all the other fuckery in the world,
Yes.
but not Brodido lose the championships.
No, they're not losing the championships.
I don't think Brodido loses the championship. I do think that Brodido retains, and it's due to Okada being pinned. You don't have Takeshita get the pin, but Okada is due. You got the one Okada one or two Okada losses a year that you haven't spent, and we're already in October. It's time to use one of them. It's time to use one of them. Use the other in the Continental Classic. There you go. But
no one thinks that Brodido losing the championships.
Not here.
I don't see it. No,
Yeah,
I don't see it too. Okada and Takeshita. I would love it. And it would make my co-host on Thursdays very happy because I do think that Okada and Takeshita is the best story AEW is telling right now, because it feels like all the creativity is going to the Darby and Moxley story, and I think that some people's interests and investment in that might vary due to how long it's been going on, where the Okada and Takeshita whole dynamic feels fresh. It feels new. It's been funny, yet still intense, all at the same time. It checks a lot of different boxes that I don't think Mox and Darby are able to. But then there is the ladies, the AEW Women's World Championship up for grabs in a first time ever singles encounter. It will be Kris Statlander defending the AEW Women's World Championship against going for 5-time Women's Champion, Timeless Toni Storm. At AEW All Out, it was Kris Statlander who used the seatbelt pin, the Wheeler Yuta, Chuck Taylor best friend special to get the win over Toni Storm and win the AEW Women's World Championship. Toni was left stunned, but she felt empty at the time. Kris Statlander then responded by retaining the championship against Toni Storm's friend and tag team partner, Mina Shirakawa, on Dynamite. Following that, she turned down the offer to join the Death Riders from Wheeler Yuta and Jon Moxley, flipping off Moxley in the process. The following week, Timeless Toni Storm made her return and issued a challenge to Kris Statlander because she felt empty. She didn't get the murder that she desired, that feeling of relief that she thought she was going to get when she lost the championship. She realized that the only feeling in the world that she ever has had is when she's had the AEW Women's World Championship. It led to Statlander accepting the challenge. And then over the last couple of weeks, we have basically seen a storyline that is basically AEW adapting a very famous WBD product, Peacemaker. Because this has just been a feud of two Amelia Hardcourts. Because all it is two women who have toxic masculinity. Every time they see each other, they want to take off their clothes and fight. They want to get their hands on one another. It's just a whole form. They want to get in each other's face. They want to pump up their chest and get to fighting. And now it all comes to a head at WrestleDream. These two women that have a great deal of respect for one another will fight tooth and nail to walk out the champion. Maggie, what have you thought about the build to this matchup and who walks out champion?
The build to this match has been nothing short of hilarious, by the way, because there's segment in the ring laying next to each other's faces. Highly entertaining, and then they're taking their clothes off because they agreed to no physicality, and then Renee Paquette takes her jacket off too. Renee's great. We brought her up, a couple of minutes ago. She's absolutely fantastic. I'm torn here because, I thought that Kris Statlander was going to retain her championship, but everyone in the chat is picking Toni. But, with the
Seems like half now. It seems like half.
With
Half
with a
match.
few exceptions, I know. It's I don't know because if Kris Statlander hadn't flipped off Jon Moxley, there could have been another story here that she loses her championship and then everything with the Death Rider continues. But no, she once and for all left that possibility in the dumpster. So I don't know what happens if she loses her championship now. So I'm gonna pick her to retain, but I have no idea what happens afterwards. Check out soon Chris Mueller's interview with Kris Statlander, by the way.
There you go. Shout out to Chris.
She has a pet pigeon. And when he posted the video of that part of the interview with her, and I'm like, of course she does. Of course she has a pigeon.
Makes sense. She has a snake too, so she has all the.
Of course she has a pigeon.
J News, who you got here? What have you thought about this build?
Much to what Maggie said, this build has been hilarious. I have had so much fun with this build. I've loved every segment of it. These two ladies were born for this sort of stuff, and it shows on screen. Like Maggie was saying, when them laying down on the mat in the ring with the microphone face off. Last week's Collision promo, where Kris was consoling Harley Cameron about being a tag team orphan, and then shouts to Harley Cameron for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Telling Wheeler Yuta to fuck off, basically. Wheeler Yuta. And then Toni comes in out of nowhere, and she just starts saying "Stat Daddy" very loudly. Come on,
stop, Daddy! Come on, stop, Daddy! Fight me! That's when it hit me. I was like, they're basically two women with toxic masculinity.
There you go.
That's all this storyline is. It's two Amelia Harcourts from Pacemaker.
There you go, man. And at the end of the day, that proves to you that at least the creative team in the back is watching current television at the end of the day. So there's that.
Not AI.
There you go. Not AI. They're stealing shit, but it's not AI. And on top of everything else, yesterday, or should I say Wednesday's bit with them and Renee, that I thought that was fantastic. And then, I don't know if Kris was reciting lines or not, but her words and then Toni's words during the sit down portion of it, I was like, well, this is some strong shit. And then when Toni got in her face and she get how Toni gets and stuff like that, man. So, pseudo sensual sometimes and all that jazz. And then Kris just got
every Toni Storm feud is basically just a homosexual relationship.
It is. I love it. It's a homoerotic relationship. And she after Kris got up and when the perfect point of that particular promo was when Kris said, "Is this interview done?" The timing was terrific. And then they ripped off the microphones and went to the ring, and then they battled it out. I think that this has been a great, entertaining build for those two. Stat should get the win here. This is more for the Toni rub for Stat one-on-one, as Toni's been the most prolific women's wrestler on the AEW roster. And Stat goes on to do other things, not necessarily knowing where Toni goes from here necessarily. Maybe she's involved in the tag team tournament with Mina Shirakawa or something like that. Who knows? But we'll see. But it should be a terrific match between the two of them. Lots of physicality and things of that nature, and throws and German suplexes and whatever have you. So we'll see it all. And I think that Toni Storm will finally get the murder she's been looking for. So that's what this is really more or less about. So let's get her done.
This was my dream match for the Toni Storm title reign. Like I said it from the beginning of this fourth reign for Toni Storm. I was like, Kris Statlander needs to be the one who beats her for the title. Didn't quite happen the way that I wanted it to happen, but it happened. And now we finally get the singles matchup. I think Kris Statlander is going to retain. And I think this has all the potential to be a fantastic match. Probably the best match on the show if these two ladies perform at their strengths. So then we got another match that should deliver on Saturday for the AEW World Championship. Hangman Adam Page will defend against the Samoan submission machine, the former AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe. Hangman and Joe have fought side by side for a majority of this year, fighting against the Death Riders. Joe and the Ops helping Hangman win the AEW World Championship against Jon Moxley in the Texas Death Match at AEW All in Texas. From there, they fought side by side again against the Death Riders in the months following All in Texas. It was Hangman who once again made the save for the Ops on Dynamite ahead of a 6-man tag team match being made with Hangman and the Ops facing the Death Riders. And it was in this particular match on the 6th anniversary where all this animosity stems from. It was Hangman who first in the promo on Collision ahead of the 6-man basically cut off Joe, with Joe giving him a side look like, you got one more time to disrespect me. The disrespect would come during the trios matchup when Hangman was punched off the apron. He jumped onto the apron and basically took the hot tag away from Joe. He wound up winning the matchup for the babyfaces, and then post-match, filled with adrenaline, Hangman handed the AEW World Trios Championship to Samoa Joe, pushing it in his chest, making the title drop to the floor. With that round of disrespect, Joe could have stand enough. He went into Hangman's face, called him out about disrespecting him, and then he said something that rang true to Hangman, telling Hangman, you never beat me. Because last year in 2024, Hangman did try to win the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe at Revolution in a 3-way with Swerve Strickland, and that version of Hangman tapped out to the Kikina clutch. That version of Hangman never was able to beat Samoa Joe. Can this version of Hangman beat Joe? Joe calling out Hangman led Hangman to issue the challenge for WrestleDream. It led to a face-to-face confrontation between the two, with Joe accepting, and Joe called out Hangman, saying that he does not respect him as a world champion, and that his focus has been deterred on the Death Riders when his focus should be on the real threat. The real threat is the man who holds the AEW World Championship, and this man does not earn his respect as a world champion, and Hangman vows to leave Joe laying and earn that respect and make him get up on his feet and shake his hand at the end of this bout. Who's going to walk out AEW World Champion? Maggie.
Okay, let's not forget the fact that Hangman called Samoa Joe an absolute Christmas ham of a man on commentary this week.
He did this week. He did do.
He popped Brian with that. Yeah, he did.
Brian, he was dead after that. I'm pretty sure Hangman retains his championship here. But the match itself, oh my God. So it's really important where this match is on the card, because you decided that we need to talk about this match before the Darby and Moxley.
No. This is not me deciding. This is me reading the material. This is me watching the show, and very, very much Tony Khan and AEW telling me what's the real main event of tomorrow night's show. And it's not Hangman and Joe, unfortunately. I said Hangman and Joe should main event the show, but they have not got the attention of the other match we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that's highly, highly unfortunate, considering the people in that other match. So, like that. Yes, Hangman retains. The match is going to be an absolute slapper. I cannot wait for this match. The other match, however, that we're going to talk about afterwards is the match that I'm going to be watching on 2x speed. So, J-News, yeah.
You don't like murder? J-News, yeah. What do you think about the build to this match and who wins?
I mean, at the end of the day, everything's been justified since they started it. They needed to pivot from an opponent standpoint for Hanger, because they don't have enough heel individual wrestlers that they can throw at Hangman for right now.
What I think happened is, the report came out last month about for Fightful Select was that Wardlow's injury. Wardlow was originally scheduled to be the opponent at All Out. It feels more likely Wardlow was the opponent for WrestleDream than All Out.
Yeah.
He had just came back. You would need more time to build him up. And it feels more likely he was the opponent for this one because the Joe Hangman program feels so put together by like glue and duct tape.
Yeah, man. You got professionals out there, so Joe made the best of it at the end of the day, and they were able to get a justified reason in order to have this match happen. Hanger retains here. If the speculation that's running rampant is what it is and becomes or comes to fruition tomorrow, then I'm all for it at the end of the day. If people don't know what I'm talking about, I
have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So let me explain, Maggie. So we know Switchblade Jay White, right?
Oh, is he coming back?
So Switchblade Jay White decided to get on Twitter for the first time in God knows how long. And he posted the word ready ? On his Twitter account yesterday. And it seems that there's now a lot of buzz behind the fact that Jay White can be coming back. And who does Jay White own 2 wins over?
No, you should have just asked a simple question. Who did Jay White beat at last year's WrestleDream? There you go.
He beat Hangman Adam Page. And they have this feud, and he's got Hangman's number. And if Jay White is ready, it's a perfect setup for him to go into Full Gear for that particular one-on-one feud. Like you, Maggie, I think that this match is going to be another banger. Samoa Joe has not really slowed down in the last couple of years in ring, so I think this is going to be a banger match. It's interesting from a particular perspective in my head. It's interesting to make this match basically a code of honor match, right? Yeah. Because if Hanger wants a handshake, right? So this is all about the code of honor at the end of the day. So
handshake, that's all I wanted. He
wants handshake. So it's interesting for them to be going that route. And if the Jay White thing happens post match, hey, that's what I'm here for.
Give it to me. That would probably be the best way. That would probably be the best way to kind of make it something big on this card if it's not the main event. Give it something memorable, a memorable post-match angle that sets up the next program for Hangman, which probably would be the Full Gear title defense. And who did he lose at last year's Full Gear? Also Jay White. So let's talk about the main event, though. The real main event. I'm sorry. Maggie, let's be real here. Dion said it best. Are we really going to have a standard match after Murder? I don't think so. And yes, we are going to probably have to see a Murder because of everything that has happened in the build-up to this matchup. As this Saturday, St. Louis, I Quit match. 5 letters, 2 words. I quit. Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, hopefully try to finally end this war that dates back to the beginning days of AEW Dynamite back in 2019. Jon Moxley got wins over Darby Allin back then. He's beaten him for the AEW World Championship. 1 year ago, he beat Darby Allin at Grand Slam to earn his title shot at the AEW World Championship, which led to last year's WrestleDream, where Moxley ended the career of Bryan Danielson, won the AEW World Championship, threw it in a bag, and we didn't see it for 10 fucking months. Darby Allin got to witness firsthand being taped up to the ropes as the Death Riders completely took out Bryan, stomping a chair around his neck. And from there, Darby Allin vowed he would be responsible for the end of the Death Riders, that he could never respect somebody like Jon Moxley who could do that to someone that he called a brother. Unfortunately, the numbers of the Death Riders led to Darby Allin being taken out in December. During his time off, he decided to climb Mount Everest. He stood at the mountaintop. He put an AEW flag at the summit at the top. But he looked at that flag and it made him think about everything Jon Moxley and the Death Riders were doing to AEW. So he came back to the company at All In Texas, fought off the Death Riders to help Hangman Adam Page win the AEW World Championship in the main event. From there, Darby teamed with Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi to beat the Death Riders and the Young Bucks in the Lights Out Steel Cage matchup at Forbidden Door. But last month at All Out, due to the numbers of the Death Riders and the returning pack, it was Jon Moxley who beat Darby Allin in his specialty matchup, the Coffin match. Unfortunately for Moxley, though, it was Darby who got the last laugh, putting him in a body bag, setting the body bag on fire. And then Darby issued a challenge for an I Quit match at WrestleDream. In the weeks since then, we've seen tasers, pepper spray, flamethrowers, Molotov cocktails. These two men talked about their long, storied history with one another in one of the most captivating segments we've seen on Dynamite this year, inside a prison visitation booth, which led to Pac murdering Darby and bloodying him. But Zombie Darby showed up at the building after the Death Riders attacked the conglomeration, and like a zombie kept going and walking towards Moxley. No matter how many Death Riders he threw at him, he laid down that flag that he says he will choke Jon Moxley out and make him say I quit on Saturday with, and told him it's never too late to say I quit. Before Moxley dropped him with a Death Rider. Will we see murder? What have you thought about this build, and who will say I quit tomorrow night in St. Louis? Maggie.
First of all, you bummed me out so much that I had to go get potato chips. I hope that this is not the main event. I understand everyone's point of view. That's fine. Everyone knows I'm not the biggest Darby fan. Thank you, sweetie. I'm not. That's not my thing. Also, if people have been, listening to what I've been pretty vocal about those types of matches are not my types of matches. I like wrestling matches, and I had my my mind full after Hangman and Swerve, that Lights Out match. That was I pretty much after that match I feel like I saw everything that I'm willing to see. So the match between Hangman and Moxley, it was really important. It wasn't as gruesome as the Lights Out match, but like it was, I think that Darby needs to win this match? Question mark. Because Moxley won the coffin match, and it's Darby's thing, coffin matches. It's like I don't know what happens if Moxley wins this, because where does Darby go after that? I have no idea. But initially, Darby needs to win. I'm with you when you said that segment, that prison segment. By the way, why? What's the kayfabe reason behind them being in a prison?
So to be completely transparent, if you watch the last part of the segment, the door said counseling, so they weren't necessarily in a prison.
Sure, okay, it said counseling, but like everyone calls it a prison. I'm like, who went to prison? I mean,
there are visitation. There are visitation.
Who's visiting who?
That says counseling. That's where the prisoner would meet with like a therapist or their lawyer. Yeah, or their lawyer.
Yeah, okay. Or their lawyer. Okay. So like that's a lot of questions, man. Why are they there? I mean, I can see Jon Moxley having a lot of friends in prison. I can see that.
That's why Pac interfered.
That's sure. That's there you go. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Darby here. I'm not. I have nothing against the wrestlers themselves. Nothing. But like Darby's gimmick isn't my thing. Every time he wrestles in the ring, it's as if I'm watching him for the last time. Please, sweetie. I'm really interested to see what Darby Allin transforms himself into in the future. I've been really vocal about this because I cannot possibly, I hope not, this gimmick for Darby has an expiration date for me because it cannot possibly hold up until the end. Right?
I mean, he doesn't have the same body, but you're literally just living through what people in the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s lived through with Mick Foley. That's all Darby Allin is. He's a smaller version of Mick Foley. This is him. This is who he's going to be.
You know what's crazy though? And this is the reality of it all. And people don't realize it, or they don't want to admit it. SP3 brought up the comparison to Mick Foley. Darby Allin's a better wrestler. I'm
gonna go. You see, you don't watch us on Thursdays, but
Yeah.
the people watching us probably do, and they know for a fact. Me and Jimmy Macaram every week we say Darby Allin is one of the greatest TV wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone on the AEW roster has been as consistent on television as far as quality television matches since the inception of AEW like Darby Allin.
Yeah. But what he gets the praise for, or what he gets noticed for, should I say, is really more of the hardcore stuff. Will his body hold up through time? Look, he puts himself through a lot, but he also recovers well and does everything that he needs to do in order to take care of his body. So I don't know how long this is going to go for, Maggie. But to answer this, Darby gets to win here, right? This is going to be a blood-soaked match if we've ever seen one, right? Murder is the name, or to quote Snoop Doggy Dogg, murder was the case that they gave him. That's gonna be something that's gonna come up here. And I don't know how he makes Moxley quit. I just don't. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be entertaining to see how he gets there. And vice versa. How does Moxley nearly get Darby to that line? You know, because we're gonna need some sort of a false finish somewhere in that match. Yeah, I don't know how far they go, man, because these two guys are freaking crazy. I don't know. So, you know, we're not gonna have exploding barbed wire rope matches here or whatever. I would have rather this been like a dog collar match, if anything, just for the sheer violence of it. But this I Quit match, it can really turn into anything, man. So I'm just interested in seeing how they structure this and where it goes. But Darby for the win.
Maggie?
I have to go.
Okay, no worries. I was just going to give my prediction. I am going with Darby Allin. Darby Allin is 0-4 against Jon Moxley. He is more than due of this damn win. I'm just scared on what he will possibly do to get this win. That is the issue, and I think that fire has to come into play after what happened at All Out. So, yeah, Darby for the win, and the show ends with him standing tall. But we've made it to the end of our pay-per-view preview for AEW WrestleDream 2025. Maggie, thank you as always for joining us. Jay News as well, and all of you, thank you. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you are new, and Maggie, let them know where they could find you in like 5 minutes.
Yes, guys, this has to be the shortest AEW prediction show that we've ever made on this channel. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm always having a blast here. You can follow me on Twitter, X or Twix, whatever, at Maggie_IK, on Instagram at Maggie.IK. If you guys are still doing the Blue Sky thing, I'm sometimes there at Maggie-IK. You can find me in 4 minutes on Fightful Overbooked for Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. Please subscribe to Fightful Overbooked. Please also subscribe to... I'm sorry, I need to eat. I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. You can also please subscribe to Fightful Select on Patreon, the easiest $5.99 that you're ever going to spend on wrestling. Thank you guys so much for having me. I hope we can see each other in a what's the next pay-per-view? What's
Saturday night's main event is
Saturday night
on November 1st. Your favorite. Maggie, I know you gotta go, you gotta have a bite to eat. Go ahead and we'll see you on Coexisting. J News, let the people know where they can follow you, sir.
Y'all can follow me on the Twitter machine at JohnLYFNMG. Y'all can follow me on Instagram _JONJY. I should be back on Sunday afternoon on the Hit the Ropes podcast with the lovely Dolores at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I, for one, will be unfortunately missing AEW's WrestleDream tomorrow due to previously scheduled things, as one must do. And hopefully I'll be able to catch it on Sunday. If not, then sometime down the line or whatever have you. But I'll get the cliff notes of it, I'm sure, because the internet never fails. And yeah, that's about it. And I think sometime next week you'll be seeing me and SP3 do a preview for the next New Japan Pro Wrestling event. Or should I say not event, but we'll be previewing the Super Junior Tag League. And breaking down the brackets and all that stuff. So we'll do that sometime during the week.
Yes, stay on the lookout for that. Maybe Monday, or I think we would have to do it like Monday because I think it starts on Wednesday or Thursday. Either or. I think it's Thursday. I think it's Thursday. So Wednesday or Monday or Wednesday. We'll figure it out. But yes, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat, Patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best way to support us when we are not live here. And check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like our WWE Crown Jewel Perf 2025 review. Check out our TNA Bound for Glory review. If you like talking about Konosuke Takeshita, check out our NJPW King of Pro Wrestling 2025 review with myself, NJ News, breaking down the latest big NJPW show. And if you want more AEW content, check out our AEW Dynamite review, AE Ramble, episode 220. This is not about me, reviewing the Go Home show ahead of WrestleDream. If you, like J News, are missing WrestleDream on Saturday, join us on Sunday here on the channel. It'll be myself, the True Draw Josh, and Professor Kris to review AEW WrestleDream. So join us for that. I will be back live here tomorrow morning, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. It will be myself, the True Draw Josh, and Miss Chrissy Love breaking down everything from Andrade's non-compete and all the controversy there, Jacob Fatu being out of action, the big changes due to Seth Rollins' injury with the Vision and Braun Breaker's push. We're going to break it all down tomorrow on the flagship podcast, so join us then. But for J News, for Maggie, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our AEW WrestleDream 2025 preview. We are signing off until next time.